Okay, and I believe we are live. Hello, welcome to the Missouri Freedom Initiative. Today is Thursday, the 21st of April, the year 2022. Hey, gang, we have a lot to talk about tonight. We're going to engage in a little bit more speculation. We're just hoping beyond hope that Dean Plocher's tuning in. We'd sure like to talk to Dean Plocher, so if you're in the house, please let us know. I know on the YouTube side we have Triple T and Mad Mom are the only two that have chimed in there. So hello to both of you. And of course, on the Discord side, we have Scott, also known as Ganai. We have KC Rich with us. We have Caleb, also known as Liberty Revolutionary, in the house. We have the Missouri Liberty Report, and of course, Robert Smith. So hello to everybody. And give us, KC, you got a 5x5. Thank you very much, man. You can hear us on YouTube.
Yep.
Okay,
No
excellent. Okay, wonderful. So I won't have to bug you guys on YouTube for a 5x5. Thought maybe we'd talk a little bit more about the live stream that we did and what it looks like Plocher, the blocker, has done since. And let's see. Well, at Army, yeah, 5x5. Okay, gotcha. And Sheridan Farmer's chiming in too. Hey there, Sheridan. Good to have you with us, buddy. And of course, Mad Mom. So I want to just say real quick, Dean Plocher, the blocker, has moved a few more bills, but he moved them in the wrong direction. The first one's 1992. Yesterday morning. Let's see. Was it yesterday morning? Let me do a refresh on this page. There we go. Yesterday morning, he took 1992 and took it from the formal perfection calendar and put it on the informal protection calendar, as you guys can see on your screen there. And he also attacked 2118. He attacked that one as well by putting it on the informal perfection calendar. So without going into a big, long discussion, one-sided with just me, I'd sure like to know what some other people's thoughts are about the way he's been shifting bills around from informal to formal to informal again, which is a way to stall bills, isn't it? I mean, what do you
Yeah,
guys think?
He started working on the formal calendar today, which is where 1992 and 2118 were. But before he started on today, he shifted them over yesterday.
That's
So
correct. That's
that's why I was
exactly.
trying to tell people this guy can maneuver them any way he wants to.
Yep. So Dean Plocher has, in essence, taken out the three most popular bills this year. Because I mean, we could speculate as to the reason he took them out. I mean, that's a fact. The three
Yeah.
most popular bills that people in Missouri wanted, we will not get, apparently, and that's because he decided unilaterally for himself and his campaign contributors. Maybe. Do you guys think that?
Perhaps.
Yeah, once again, we don't know for sure. This seems like a follow the money deal. In that vein, you guys have in the description section, once again, Dean Plocher's top 10 donors. It's right in the description section, gang, of this video. And top 10 industries. We can look into that and delve into that. And I think we could probably start answering some of our own questions about why Dean Plocher is not letting certain legislation through. And Ron Calzone has already done a pretty good write-up on, a couple of those as well. Now, are we completely done and over with? No, but he is definitely making it very difficult and running out the clock. I mean, let's just be honest, gang. I mean, the clock is
Yeah,
running.
he's basically taking a knee and running out the clock. That's
Yep.
that's what he's doing with them.
Yep. So that's what it appears like. So let's take basically another look. Not necessarily an investigative look. We don't have to do that, but let's look at 2009. And by the way, for those of you who watched our live stream that think that kids can't take religious exemptions in the state of Missouri for vaccinations, that is incorrect. They can. It can be done. I did this with my daughter, by the way. Religious exemption. She was in a private school, but they did have requirements for vaccinations, and I opted out of those with a religious exemption. So just so you know, everybody, you can still get a religious exemption in Missouri. What Susie Pollock's bill did is streamline the process, made it a whole lot easier, and included the term not just religious exemption, but conscientious objection. And what that offered up is people who don't go to a regular church or people who aren't of a particular religion could still take the exemption without a religious exemption. So conscientious objection and exemption, and it's allowed for in the Missouri Constitution. So but I want you guys to know you can still get a religious exemption in the state of Missouri. With Susie's bill being killed by Dean Plocher, the blocker, conscientious objection, the idea of that is dead as her bill is at this point, unfortunately. But then again, Plocher gets a lot of medical money. And it seems to me that, the medical folks are very much about these vaccinations, particularly with the beer flu and others. And so I think we can draw a correlation there. I mean, we don't know for sure, but he's getting an awful lot of money from the medical community, and he is doing something that they want. So the people from Missouri don't want this. So, what conclusions can we draw from this? He's not going with the voters. He's going with what the medical community who gives him money into his campaign wants. That's what it seems like anyway. What do you guys think?
That's, tell you what, that's kind of what I'm thinking too. Like you say, follow the money. Why else would you, keep three great bills from seeing the light of day?
Warrior Class.
All you gotta do is look at his donors, man. That pretty much tells you everything.
Yep. Once again, down in the description section. Warrior Class says, how about the I don't want to be poisoned exemption? Well, actually, we didn't have a bill for that specifically, but I understand the sentiment. Trust me. And I want to, this is real easy to put together for Bill 2009. The way Susie Pollock was treated by Plocher, he lied. At least that's what it looks like, gang. He lied. He colluded with another member of the House to actually, and then possibly colluded with the Democrats as well, in order to shut down Susie's bill. Once again, the Democrats want the vaccination on everybody. At least that's what it seems like anyway. The medical community wants the vaccination on everybody. And Dean Plocher is getting a lot of money from those medical folks. So once again, we're just putting together puzzle pieces. We don't know for sure. And Dean Plocher, by the way, I don't know if I've told you guys this or not. Dean Plocher has not returned a single phone call. Not one to me. Not one. Has anyone here gotten a return phone call from Plocher?
Not from Plocher himself.
Okay, gotcha.
Not a return email.
Yeah. Caleb, any return phone calls? Net. Okay. I suppose, gosh darn it, guys. We can only speculate at this point because we've asked him to come on our show. We have emailed him. We have called him between all of us dozens and dozens and dozens of times. So apparently he's very busy. So what we're going to do is we're going to spread that speculation into 2118. We're going to talk about that for a second. And we're going to talk about some Senate business tonight, too. Again, welcome to everyone who's joining us on YouTube. And Latanya mentions not any text back either. Okay, thank you, Latanya. I haven't gotten a text back either.
I sent him plenty of those.
Yeah, I sent him more than...
I think he threw that phone away a couple hours in the first day, man.
Yeah.
At one point in time, his voicemail was full, wasn't it?
It was full. That's why we had to switch to the cell phone, because his voicemail was full at work. So, yeah, so we did that. Latanya is wondering, speculating, is he dead? Like Weekend at Bernie's. You got, like Rudy Veit and some other guy propping him up and walking him around the halls in Jefferson City. We don't know. That's fine speculation. We could go there if you want to. But we should get a wellness check on him. Call the sheriff. Yeah, call the sheriff to come over. Hey, he's not returning anyone's phone calls. Can you please go check on him? Poor Igor's right. Poor Igor. He's having to bear the blunt of this, and he's from the Ukraine, so he probably doesn't understand, basically what we're going through with Plocher. let's go ahead and move that
Yeah,
speculation.
he basically left one war for another.
Yeah.
Oh God.
So let's move this speculation we have to 2118 for a moment, guys. Let's talk about this. And 2118 is the Stand Your Ground Enhancement Act. And we know for a fact that prosecutors in law enforcement that has been giving money to Plocher the Blocker also does not want that bill to go through. So I thought we would speculate on this a little bit today if we could. In fact, actually anyone else, you guys step in, anyone, come in and speculate just a little bit. Apparently the campaign money coming into Plocher the Blocker from law enforcement, from prosecutors, and from judges do not want 2118 to go through. The Missouri people do. And now we know what happened to the bill, been shoved from one calendar to another. It's a stall tactic. So anyone care to engage in any speculation on that?
Yeah, he moved those the day before. I mean, he hadn't touched a formal calendar for perfection all week. I mean, we were like seventh in the 2118 was seventh in the queue, and 1992 was fifth in the queue on that. And then yesterday he moved those two to the informal calendar, and then today, actually there's a whole block of them that we were. That whole block that was first up on the formal calendar for perfection. He moved that whole block over to informal calendar yesterday, and then today he started taking bills on the formal calendar. So he made sure he got ours out of there before he started on that calendar.
Yep, he sure did, didn't he? And it was the only.
What did he replace them with?
Well, they just the order shifted.
They just went. After they moved that block out of there, what was left from then on down, that's where they started. Yeah. Like I said, he could move that any way he wants.
Special.
Go ahead.
Well, I was saying, I was curious if he added anything from the informal to the formal, like maybe he moved the block that we want, but I was curious what his interests were if he moved something else in, see what his priorities were, as I would say, you know what I mean?
That I don't know. I honestly haven't followed it that much today as far as what bills they got through, but all I know is our two didn't. He moved those yesterday out of there and then started on the formal calendar for perfection. So yeah, it's obvious, man. This dude's, well, like I said, he done told me 2118's not going to see a lot of days, so he's just going to keep shifting it around.
Mm-hmm.
Unless we can make him do otherwise.
Go ahead, Caleb.
I was saying, I don't know what else you can expect out of him.
One good thing, though, they're on the informal calendar now, so he can pull those back anytime.
He could.
He can pull them up anytime he wants. So I don't know if there's some way we can, twist his arm and make him do it.
The only thing I could think of is once again, guys, the clock is ticking, but basically just renew your calls to Plocher's office to get 1992 and 2118. Taken out and put out immediately. I mean, immediately. I mean, we're running low on time, gang. And the reason being is because we can get it passed through the House. That's not a problem. But then it's going through the process in the Senate, which takes a certain amount of time. So, that's what we're worried about is the time in the Senate. How long is it going to take in the Senate? What roadblocks are we going to hit in the Senate? Especially when there's 3 weeks left in the legislative year. So that's, the main thing. But I don't know. By him moving those two bills specifically after we've been pushing so hard for those bills feels kind of personal.
Oh, yeah. It's definitely personal.
Yeah. So he's not a live and let live kind of politician. He's, got to take vengeance on you and, got to take it out on you and all your friends and your family and your loved ones, kick your dog kind of.
Got to try and prove a point.
Yeah.
That's a sociopathic trait.
It is a sociopathic trait, actually, is to punish people, make them suffer, basically. But actually, we'd have to be able to prove in a court of law that he enjoys making people suffer in order to give him the clinical sociopath title. So we're not there yet. But let's talk about what we can prove based on the available information, or at least we can speculate on it. We're not proving a thing. We're not in a court of law here. And by the way, that is interesting. I think Plocher should have to take, basically an oath to tell the truth every time from now on when he gets on the floor of the Missouri House, because I think he's a liar. And he's working for other people. He's not working for the people of Missouri. He's not working for the people of his district. That's the thing. His vote being for sale, that's being a politician. His position as floor leader being for sale, that's very different. Very different. So that's what I suspect is going on here. I don't think it's really his vote that his benefactors are paying for. I think it's his position, his ability to move the bills around, change the priorities. And that's what I think's going on here. Once again, we're just speculating. Dean Plocher, if you're watching this right now, please come in. There is down in the description section, we have a link to our Discord. You can come in and chat with us. We'd love to have you. You will be treated with respect. But we do want you to actually take an oath to tell the truth when you come in here. That's all we require. That's it. Okay, so I think if we speculate about 2118, we can probably come to the conclusion that he's not representing the people of Missouri, what the voters want, or people in his district wants. He is representing law enforcement, prosecutor, and judges, and that's federal money mainly coming in. So basically, he's kind of representing the federal government in a certain way. Wouldn't you guys agree?
Overwhelmingly.
Yeah. So, actually, we have a guy that's voted in the St. Louis area and taken a lot of money in from medical interests and from law enforcement and from judges and prosecutors, where a lot of that happens to be coming from the federal government in the form of, grants. So it just feels like, once again, it's nothing we can say, with absolute certainty, but I think there's a high likelihood that, Dean Plocher is actually representing the federal government's interests in the Missouri Legislature. And Dean Plocher, I can tell you this is a fact. This is not speculation. Dean Plocher did everything in his power to slow down and stop SEPA for 4 years. 4 years to get our Second Amendment Preservation Act done. And that's well known, by the way. So that shouldn't be new news. It certainly isn't to the people in this chat here, but those of you watching in YouTube land may not have known that. So he's definitely a problem. So let's not just talk about problems. Let's talk about solutions. There are some solutions. So anyone want to start out that conversation? Robert, you want to talk about solutions a little bit? Changing the rules on the House floor, getting him, not to be elected maybe? Robert, go ahead.
Well, I almost feel like maybe Plocher might have ambitions for a future run, and we really need to be able to, as a group, maybe put pressure on the Republicans in his area to just flat out say, hey, if you can't listen to popular demand, we just won't let you on the ballot. And you can refuse a filing fee. I've seen my party do it twice for candidates that just weren't worthy. We just would not let them on our ballot. And, I really think the Republicans need to clean up their candidates and who they allow on their ballot, because they're not allowing conservative constitutional candidates on their ballot.
Mm-hmm.
Number two, I don't know. So as a House, you could set your own rules, and I think there needs to be rules in the House. Candidates need to start maybe making pledges that they're going to propose rules to the House chambers to where you can't pretty much railroad and block bills like that. Maybe once it's on the formal, it stays on the formal till voted on. Or maybe some type of a go around where if a bill switches from informal to formal to informal, then it can be opened up to a House floor vote to where the floor will vote on voting on it or not. We can't have one person systematically railroad some of the most popular bills in Missouri right now for special interest.
Yep.
That's taxation without representation.
Yep.
And
good
we
point.
need to challenge him. We need to challenge him on that and just let him know the Republicans need to step up. There's committee women and committee men in his district. He's in District 89, I believe.
Yes.
Make it to where, hey, Plocher, you're obviously voting against the Republican platform. You're not listening to your constituents. We will block you from running as a Republican in the future. And, put a little fire under somebody's feet to actually do something around here. Because as long as he thinks he's immune, or as long as he thinks they're going to take his filing fee, and the GOP will never be able to get rid of what you call rhinos, or these unconstitutional representative garbage trash compactors that we have, because they're pathetic. They don't even deserve to be on the Republican ballot. I could name 20 Republicans on the ballot in Missouri that don't deserve to be on the Republican ballot.
Mm-hmm.
So why'd you even let Dave Schatz back on the ballot? Why'd you let Vicky Hartzler, who voted for red flag laws, on the ballot? Why did you let Roden back on the ballot? Why do you let these people give you money and get on the ballot when you could simply tell them no during the filing period? For any reason you want. You don't even have to give them a reason. You have the right to refuse. So maybe people should start thinking about other parties who actually control their ballot access.
Yep.
World's smallest violin?
No, it's cash. Cash. That's the universal thing for cash, The tiniest violin is that one right there.
Oh, there you go. Yep.
Yeah, world's smallest violin might work too, though.
Okay. And by the way, I agree with you, Robert. I agree with you so strongly that I'm actually changing up the surveys this weekend to reflect that, basically pledging to actually look into changing the rules of the House in the Missouri House for candidates that are running for the House. And so before I go on, hey, John, I'm sorry, man, if I haven't given you much of a chance to talk. What are your thoughts on all this? I mean, you're following this as well. Oh, by the way, 2704, which is a bill that we were pushing for as well, but also you kind of saw what happened to it. What are your thoughts on? Oh, and we didn't even talk about that. So you want to talk about 2704? You want me to start us out?
Go ahead and start us out, because
Okay.
I did not notice that I did not see the change. I actually hadn't looked. I
Okay.
saw that it made it off, out of the the rules
Yep.
committee, and I was like, okay, cool, it moved. My idiotic butt did not check it to see that there was a little change there. So.
Yeah. Well, my pathetic butt was actually driving home when Caleb called me. And go ahead, Caleb. Go ahead.
Okay.
I took a little look through that thing, and where it said in the first one, basically the only thing you needed a license for, got a license for that.
What?
The only thing you needed a license for was to cultivate for business purposes. In the committee modified version, they reduced it from 12 plants to 6 plants, and you need a license to have those 6 plants.
See, this is what.
So that
gets me.
creates a tracking scheme, which actually gives some idiotic cop with a hard-on for some revenge for some reason to go do an anonymous tip to the ATF because, oh, well, it's not guns.
Yeah. Well, isn't that just... I'm sorry, John. Go ahead.
Well, this is the thing. The bill itself, of course, the original language was perfect because it took licensure off of it.
It did.
So there was no surprise inspection from the Department of Health and what is it, DHSS? There was no surprise visits because there was no licensure attached to it. So you don't have to worry about them showing up and saying, "Hey, we want to inspect and see how many flowering plants you have and all this stuff." And I believe in the language it says that the smell of marijuana cannot be used as an excuse to do a search of your vehicle or your home anymore. That was taken off. Now, this whole licensure thing, of course, they cut the amount of plants in half from 12 to 6. And just from knowing people who use medical marijuana and grow it themselves, a lot of people think, well, 6 plants is plenty. If you have a chronic pain issue or you have a chronic illness, 6 plants, by the time you harvest them and get everything you need, it's not as much as you think. Not to mention the fact that if you have a problem with the soil or water or insects hit it, they're all gone.
Yeah, it's
This is
anywhere from 3 to 5 months for most hemp plants, which the same crosses over to marijuana.
Yep.
Sounds to me like they're trying to legalize marijuana for the businesses and corporations, not
Yeah,
that much for the people.
that's basically what it is. Because if you have to have a license to grow your own, then you'll just buy from others, so you don't have that piece of paper with your name on it.
Mhm.
That is the only groups who are fighting this bill are the monopolization, the big businesses who have the cultivation sites and the dispensaries. That is literally the only people who are fighting against it.
Yeah, they don't want
Literally
people
is.
growing their own. They want to sell it to
No.
everyone.
So the
And
fascists are infiltrating this one too.
Yep.
I think the feds have their hand in this too, because the feds don't want to see marijuana decriminalized. There's too much money from putting people in jail and stealing that money and stealing that weed and then putting it back out on the streets through the CIA or whoever. It's
Mhm.
too much money. They stand to lose too much money. That's literally all it is. I don't understand how people still find it moral. People today still find it moral to throw somebody in a cage for a plant. It
Yep.
just the idea to me
Yeah.
seems ridiculous, but so much money involved that they just can't keep their dirty government hands off anything as it comes to licensure or any of that stuff. As long as they get their money in their till, well, we'll just chop your rights right up and we'll continue to. Yeah, I don't know. I guess the expungement thing hasn't been touched yet. That's the other thing I would worry about is, well, we'll let certain, nonviolent offenses off the hook. This one was any of them. Any nonviolent marijuana offense was expunged. The other bills, it's certain ones. If you had under a certain amount of marijuana,
Mhm.
it could be expunged, but others would not be expunged. They'll have to still sit in jail and serve their time. Then they can get out and get it expunged. This is the quickest and easiest way for all nonviolent offenders
Yeah.
to. And the other thing, here's the thing that I think some people aren't thinking about. How many people do we hear complaining about crowded prisons? That's a common complaint. We got overcrowded prisons. We got to do something. Fine, let the nonviolent people out.
But see,
Overcrowded prison system solved.
the thing is, it's not about the overcrowded prison. It's that they put overcrowded prison, and then they get to build more prisons.
Yeah, and some of them that are traded on the stock market, where municipalities actually will
Trade the
write
prisons on the stock market.
Hey,
will
there's
write.
also been private prisons that have threatened to close because they didn't have enough people in their prisons
Yep.
to
Yeah, they,
stay open.
there was a
They're
Yeah.
movie that
basically saying you got to put more people in prison or we're going to shut down. And I
there
tell you
was
what, out of sight, out of mind. Most people don't think nothing about it because they're not in there.
there was a documentary called The Great White Hope, and they were taught there was some smaller towns in Texas. They had built this privately run prison. Law enforcement came through and arrested anybody on anything they could to fill those beds. And then, of course, people were getting kickbacks because of that. People don't understand that they will literally write new laws in order to imprison you, so some private company can make their money off putting people in cages. There's so much evil crap tied into this. It's not just about marijuana. Of course, it's about the money and the control. Well, now we can do, surprise visits to your home. Listen, man,
Well,
I'm just, these people are just trying to make themselves feel better. Why in the hell you got to bug them? Why do you have to bother them?
I got a couple of points to make on all this too. I mean, when it comes to not just a plant that's not moral to throw somebody in a cage for, but I don't care what it is you possess. It doesn't matter. If you leave no victim, then you shouldn't be thrown in a damned rape cage.
Right.
Um,
Absolutely.
Second off on that, this whole thing with how that's worded, not only does it give the corporates a way around this to where they are the ones who hold the monopoly on it, which is once again a government endorsed monopoly, fascism. Um, you also leave a wide open window there because this falls under the drug things, and this creates a whole other portion of a marijuana enforcement thing in the state of Missouri. Now, all they have to do is you get some crooked cop that doesn't like you for some reason because he couldn't get you on some ticket, and he knows you have guns, and he also knows you have weed. All he has to do is drop a dime on you at a payphone, and he doesn't get any repercussions because there's no enforcement mechanism on this on the cops.
Yep.
And he wasn't violating SAPA. Oh, no, no, no. The feds did that. I just did this, and they can't fire him. They can't.
Well, one thing I don't like also that they added on the amendment was, so 2704 originally said that owning a firearm or partaking in possession of cannabis doesn't constitute a crime. Well, they amended it to where it doesn't constitute a crime as long as you're not intoxicated as defined in 577.001. Well, what's intoxication? There's no definition of intoxication. So they can just say or come up with their own vague intoxication. And when it comes to that, then I was reading further that you can be charged with the DWI in your own driveway or on private roads, on your own private property, on your back 80. So I'm sitting in my home. I'm relaxing for the day. Hypothetically, theoretically, I partake in an edible and I'm getting ready for bed, but there's a home invasion and I defend myself.
Yep.
Well, am I intoxicated now? Right? I have the right to self-defense. You cannot say I'm intoxicated, and I completely and totally hate that, because whereas before I could possess and partake in cannabis and not be in violation, now they added a stipulation, but the stipulation to me is so vague that it could be almost anything.
Well, it's
I
not
mean-
just that. It's that the fact that the very nature of the stipulation is to turn you into a criminal twice.
Exactly.
You know,
Exactly.
and so let's get to the gist of it. You know, basically, papers, please, based on licensing for growing your own plants, which is what they injected, as Caleb,
By
told
the
us.
way,
Go ahead.
having that on, just like I was talking to you before about with SAPA, how it's a bad idea to have state, SFL's state firearms license for dealing firearms.
Okay.
Same thing with this.
Yep.
And the reason being is because they have you on paper, a name, an address, and everything.
Yep.
Yep, understood. But the very fact of the matter is, I grow tomato plants. I grow a lot of vegetables, and I would sure hate it if the government told me that I needed to get a license to grow tomato plants. And
I mean, look how many towns across the country make it illegal for you to have a garden in your yard.
yep, thankfully,
That happens all the time.
yeah, that's city jurisdiction. I've only heard of
Yeah.
cities doing that. I've never heard of state, but cities do that. But
Give it
but your
time.
point is well taken. Trust me. And-
Ironically enough, that is actually a violation of the last section of Article 1 of the Missouri Constitution, right to farm.
Yeah, in fact, it's not happened in Missouri, but on the East Coast, there are cities that actually do that. They'll fine you if you grow vegetables in your front yard. You know, if they have an ordinance, it's just another fancy way of saying tax. Is all it
Well, they
is.
try to keep you from collecting rainwater, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, Oregon.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that's
You know what I mean?
Colorado. That's Colorado.
Colorado. I thought that was Oregon.
No, it's
Well,
Colorado.
It's a
There
couple
was-
states actually that practice you can't collect rainwater. I don't know about Missouri. I don't think so. But
Oh, you can
I'm
collect whatever you want here.
Yeah, Missouri's pretty liberty-minded when it comes to the things that you're allowed to do. But I will remind you that we're slowly losing those things, and they're slowly becoming licensed and regulated and inspected, and the government is slowly trying to pull themselves into your daily lives. And
Sir.
we do
Sir.
not need that.
You need a license for that.
Yeah, Latanya points out that they do already regulate our seed stock. So, and I've heard a little bit about that, but so there's some of that, creeping into agriculture in that way. But the point of the matter is they're messing with, an otherwise, a good bill for Missouri. And the one other thing I wanted to bring up about basically what we had talked about, the war on drugs is a failure, an abject failure. But also, too, if you decriminalize marijuana, you will lighten the load of the court system here in the United States as well. And that's a good thing. We do need to lighten the load of the court system. So that's another direct benefit of actually legalizing hemp and marijuana plants. And by the way, I call it a benefit. And I know many people may disagree with me or think that I'm being unreasonable in this measure, but trust me, gang, that's it. In fact, I don't want to say much more than this, but I do know a lot of law enforcement in Missouri simply aren't interested on arresting people with marijuana right now. And that's based on jurisdictions, based on whoever's in charge. But there is a lot of that going on right now, unless it's a large quantity. That's the only time you'll hear about something like that happening. But I thought I would mention that because, once again, gang, we're okay. And first and foremost, we go after corruption. But the corruption on the federal level on the war on drugs is astounding. Now, we could get into it right now in this show, but it would be a 5-hour show. The corruption within the federal government and state governments and ultimately law enforcement on the war on drugs. It goes into civil asset forfeiture. It goes into the prison system. It goes into the court system. It goes into law enforcement. It goes into general assemblies. It is everywhere. Would you guys agree on that?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
Saturated.
Yep.
I'd say it runs a lot deeper than that.
Yeah. So when I might have been, understating it when I said it would take 5 hours to do a program on that. Because the corruption is astounding on the war on drugs. Go ahead.
It's a straight up racket.
Yeah, it is a racket. It's
And
meant to
it's
generate
more like-
revenue.
It's not just, it's industries too, because hemp would replace paper. Hemp would replace wood, or not replace, but help alleviate the strain.
Mhm.
You can make, you could trap carbon and put it into fireproof concrete blocks, and now you've trapped carbon and taken it out of circulation.
Mhm.
You can make coal out of hemp to where it burns cleaner than coal, but it'll burn in our coal plants. It's ready to go. You can make fuel out of it, medicine out of it. I mean, there's probably possibilities that we haven't even unlocked yet because they've locked it down and hampered it. And our bodies have cannabinoid receptors. Why do we have those if we're not supposed to take hemp products and CBD products and cannabis products? Why are they in us? So
Yep.
It shouldn't be regulated and it shouldn't be messed with by the government.
Government, in all actuality, has no legitimate authority to touch anything that anybody does in their own time and their own property.
No, they have no constitutional enumerated power for that.
Yep. But they
And
None of it.
yep.
under the 9th Amendment, those rights not enumerated are still my rights. So this is one of those rights that are not enumerated that belong to me, and that the government's taking and making a license and turning it against. But you have all these police, judges, you have all these prosecutors, you have all these people who think that people like me or people who partake in cannabis are criminals.
Let me ask
And
you
it's
guys.
just wrecked.
Let me ask a question real quick because Latanya put something in, and I'm not real familiar with this right now. I'm sorry, it's Mad Mom. Mad Mom put in, people with their cards are getting rejected from buying firearms right now. Is that true? Medical cards and no buy gun kind of
Yes.
thing?
By federal law.
Okay,
and
because
that's what they're
that's
doing. They're going by
FFL.
federal law.
That's
Yeah,
FFL.
isn't
If you do,
It's-
if you say you have a medical card, they're going to reject it right away.
they're going to reject it, and then if you say you don't, if you say that you don't have one, I guess it would, and they somehow know because that stuff does get leaked, even though they're not supposed to. The feds will come investigate you and get you on perjury.
Mm-hmm. And of course,
That's
go ahead.
I say that was another beneficial part of 2704 that in that bill states that no government agent, employee or agency, employee or unauthorized third party will know that you have a medical marijuana card. That's another important facet of this bill.
Yep. This has been
That's one of
exacerbated.
the reasons I really liked it. Yeah.
Yeah, this has been exacerbated by PDMP as well, the prescription drug monitoring program. And that's something that we tried to stop last year at the same time we were doing SEPA, but of course that did go through. There was a phrase in there that it didn't apply to firearms, but it did say that it would comply 100% with HIPAA regulations. So there was a conflict within that bill. That did become law. I don't know if you guys remember that. Once again, from 2021. Yep. So
I just remember well, we're the only state that doesn't have one. Great. Awesome. Let's keep being the only state without the PDMP. Why do we have to be like everybody else? It's ridiculous.
Yep, not anymore.
Yep, that's
Not
right.
anymore.
And once again,
They took care of that.
yeah, the gut reaction would be if you have a card, for being on medical marijuana, and you went in to buy a firearm, you might say, hey, I'm not doing medical marijuana. You answered the box incorrectly. Well, the PDMP will point out the fact that you just fibbed. And now you're in trouble. Not only can you not get a firearm, but you just lied on a federal form. And so now
I never got the medical.
But Hunter Biden lied on a federal form.
Yeah, I know. Unfortunately, you do have to have a position on a board of directorship of an oil company in the Ukraine to be able to get away with it, Caleb. So, it is complicated. I could take you through all the legal aspects of that, but once you're on the board of a Ukrainian oil company, you can pretty much buy any firearm you want, no matter what drugs you're on. So, yeah.
I just want to add one thing about the war on drugs.
Sure.
If somebody hasn't read the book, read Dark Alliance from Gary Webb. It's a big book. Read it, and then if you still if you're one of those kind of, I don't know, read that and then come back and say, yeah, I still like the war on drugs. That book will change your mind. All it has to do with is the Iran-Contra scandal, but the amount of cocaine that was brought in to fund the fight against the communists, that book is mind-blowing. That guy ended up, he committed suicide.
Didn't he? Yeah, he got suicide.
Oh, was that the guy that got shot twice in the back of the head?
No, that was Clinton's guy.
Vince Foster.
Vince Foster, yeah.
Yes.
This guy supposedly slit his wrists in a bathtub at a motel, but his brother, who was a physician, could not get the guy to come into his office to draw his blood to do just a yearly exam because he was so frightened of the sight of blood or needles. But yeah, he slit his wrists in some motel, and they found him in there, which of course they shoot everybody out of the room. Nobody really got to investigate, and then they cleaned everything up and said, yep, it's a suicide. So, but anyway, if you haven't read the book, that's one of my must-read titles. It's a great book.
Yep. Well, so let's steer our way back to Plocher and what Plocher's doing. I want to talk about the solutions that we have, because guys, we're not doom and gloom here. We do, and for those of you watching now or later after this is live, say, see, I told you, Missouri's nowhere near as free as you told us. Missouri's got problems. Yes, we do. We do have problems, but we're not going to get rid of our problems until we air out our dirty laundry. That's why we're talking about Dean Plocher. Dean Plocher represents soiled underwear in the hamper of Missouri. We have to deal with it. We have to take... Go ahead.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say that all the other states have the exact same problems, if not worse.
Yes.
Difference is that we air the dirty laundry, which means they're more slightly more careful about how they go about it.
Yeah. And so
at least we expose them so we can have a chance to deal with them.
That's correct. Because if we don't expose, basically the corruption within our state, we will never get rid of it. And shame on the Republicans in the General Assembly that are not standing up to Dean Plocher right now. But we, the citizenry, we'll do it for you, I guess. We elected you to do that for us, so we'll take care of it. So that's all right. Just go ahead and sit back in your comfy chairs.
Don't we always have to?
Yep. I do want to say that 54 Republicans did stand up to Dean Plocher. 54 Republicans in the Missouri House of Representatives did, in fact, stand up to Dean Plocher. Those that did not side with Susie Pollock, basically to restructure the bill, shame on you. And we've got your number. Our focus today, of course, is Plocher. The blocker. We'll get to you guys later. So what Robert said is correct. We have two things we can do here. Number one is we can work against him in his election and make sure that, because there's only a Democrat running against him, but it might be better just to have the Democrat. In fact, I've talked to a lot of folks, and I'm not going to say who those folks are, but those folks agree with me, and they have organizations as well. So, Dean Plocher, I'm sorry, man, we're going to have to start stumping for your opponent in the election. Number two, we have to air out all your dirty laundry. So we're going to be doing that, basically from this point forward through the entire campaign. Anytime we have new news on what Dean Plocher is up to and who his campaign donors are, we'll be there.
Or maybe what he did before.
Yep, and what he did before with SEPA, we'll be there. Number three, and possibly most important, we're putting out surveys, and we're asking people who are running for the House of Representatives to pledge to change the rules of the House so that this can never, ever happen again. That basically the situation we have with Plocher can never be allowed in the state ever again with the House of Representatives, and we'll have to work on the Senate as well. Decentralizing power, taking away some of the power from the floor leader, and also from the, gosh darn it,
Speaker of the House.
Speaker of the House, thank you. So that it can be decentralized a little bit, and at the very least there can be a committee, at the very least. A committee, basically for assignment of bills, both to committees and to floor time. Because, Dean Plocher, you're just about as dirty as they come in my book. And by the way, I know you like to be a background operator. I know you want to operate in the background, and you think that people won't notice. We've been noticing you for a long time, especially with SEPA. That's how you came to my attention. I saw
Not
you.
anymore. You're coming out to the forefront.
That's right. We're going to make sure that you're, basically front page news as far as the freedom organizations in the state of Missouri are concerned, because we just can't put up with you anymore. I'm very sorry. I think maybe you're a nice guy. I don't know. You won't call me back, so we can't chit chat about this.
He's not acting very nice.
Yeah.
But you know what, though? Okay, you know what? As far as his election goes, the last election he had in 2020, against a Democratic opponent, he won 60-40. Now, if he was to have a big scandal hanging off his neck, that 60-40 could come 50-50 or even better or even worse against him.
What a slap in the face to the GOP that the Democrat candidate would be
preferable,
better suited than a Republican.
Yep.
Because at least you won't have that Democrat blocking good legislation the next two sessions around.
Yep.
I mean, slap in the face. Come on, GOP, get it together. That's the whole reason why I run as a libertarian. Is I want the GOP in my district to get it together and stop supporting the people that they support for as long as they've supported them. Sure, trick me for 2 years, fine, all right. Or a senator, maybe 6 years, okay, you get it by me. But, for somebody to be in office for 40 years or a decade or 15, 16, 18, 22 years, and you can't see how they're an unconstitutional rhino right in front of your face, it's disgusting. So it's frustrating. That's why I guess sometimes I say things so harsh is because I'm just frustrated. And but groups like yours and groups like Show Me Integrity and Conservatives Against Corruption, they're going to change it.
I think so too. I mean, we're not going to take it anymore, but we're not just going to get mad and get on our keyboards. We're going to be driving up to Jefferson City and talking to people. So this is, guys, for those of you who want to get involved in a fight like this to clean up your own states, it goes beyond, being at the keyboard. You guys do have to visit your capitals and confront these people directly. Now, for those of you who don't have a background in psychology or a year or two of psychology, when you're dealing with psychopaths and sociopaths, the best way to deal with them is confront them. I mean, out in the open in front of other people. That is the absolute best way to deal with them. And and I don't want to suggest that Dean Plocher is a psychopath, but he's starting to fit the profile at least of a sociopath, possibly. I mean, the best I can assign him right now is a toxic narcissist. but it goes beyond that because of the lying. The lying, puts him into the sociopath category.
Yeah, the open lying is
Yeah.
definitely sociopath.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
He's got to be sweating. There's people
personal
lined out of his
assessment.
office every day, phone calls every day, email every day, voicemail full. He's gonna start feeling the heat, and he's gonna, you just got to keep it. You got to lay siege to him.
yeah,
I will say that when it comes to if he actually is a sociopath, which is my general assessment of the guy, they don't work like that. They will tell you to your face that they're gonna do what they're gonna do, and then or tell you to your face, they'll I support what you're saying, and this, that, and the other, and then go ahead and do the exact opposite.
no, that's just a plain hypocrite. But we're talking about the way he operates beyond that.
Oh, I
So
know. He lies to people's faces
yep.
and then enjoys their suffering.
Oh yeah, he likes to let people know he has power. And clearly he enjoys getting campaign contributions in large quantities from corporations doing their bidding because that's where the money's coming from. That's where the bread is getting buttered. And so if you look carefully, once again, I'll put it up on the screen. You guys, this is the campaign donors. It's in the description section. I'm going to go ahead and put it in the YouTube side again on the chat. You guys look through this. I mean, the guy doesn't get many campaign donations from mom and pop. He's getting them from corporations, from law enforcement, from organization, police unions, from prosecutors unions, attorneys, and law firms. That's where all of his money's coming from medical hospital, administrations. This is where the guy gets all of his money.
And he's an ex-prosecutor.
And he's an ex-prosecutor and an ex-judge. He was a municipal judge. So, yeah, he's, So
this guy is the system.
Yes, he is. The system. Yes, he is. But Dean Plocher, we've had it with you. And actually, I don't think we can probably come to an agreement or an amends on this one. You just have to go. I mean, that's really the best thing for the state of Missouri. I just don't see any other way at this point. You need to come forward and say that you're sorry and that you lied and that you destroyed the most popular bill in Missouri this year, just like you tried to derail SEPA. Well, actually, you were successful in derailing SEPA a couple of times. So, yeah, good on you for that. We got it through anyway. But you're slowing up the process of getting good things done for the people of Missouri, and these are things that people of Missouri want. And because your benefactors don't want them, you feel that somehow you're justified in what you do. But no, it's time for us to actually mount a massive. By the way, you better call all your friends that are giving you money because you're going to need 5 or 6 times more than you got last election cycle to beat us. You need more money. More money. More money.
Yeah, Plocher to blocker. You're going to be going into your campaign run with some scandals hanging off of you.
Yeah. So once again, I mean, yeah, maybe we can come to an amends, but you do need to admit publicly that you lied and publicly that you derailed the most popular legislation this year. If you're man enough to do that, maybe we can come to some sort of compromise.
And fast track those bills to the floor.
Yeah, let's get those bills out. Let's get out.
If we're going to hold them back, then we ain't holding back.
Yep.
Yeah, because he becomes what? He becomes House Speaker in January of 2023.
We can't have that. We can't have that.
I wouldn't stop that.
Nope. That's the whole reason for, basically putting out surveys, having people pledge to actually decentralize power in the House. So, and that'll be worked on this weekend. So, and I have a commitment from someone to help me with that.
Right. We're going to have a Plocher to blocker bill.
Yep. So, in your honor, Dean Plocher, much like many of our YouTube videos, we're also going to have a bill in your honor, too. Basically a rule change within the House. Actually, it won't be a bill. It'll be a rule change. That's internal. That doesn't get voted on by the people. Yep, that's what I think we should do. And let's update everyone real quick. Casey, Rich, if you can, on guys, I don't want to derail our conversation too horribly, but we do need to pay attention to the Senate right now. And we have two bills that we are working to defeat in the Senate. And those are HJR 79 and I believe HJR 91. And these are ballot initiatives. And KC, take it away.
Yeah, and you also have two more. You got SJR 31 and SJR 37. Those are two Senate ballot initiative killers. So those things are still floating, roaming free also. Right now, at this point, SJR 31 and SJR 37 have moved out of the Local Government and Elections Committee. They've been out for a while, but they have not been assigned to the floor, either as either on an informal or formal calendar. In fact, they might have to go through another committee as far as I know. I don't know yet, but they haven't moved. And let's see, HJR 79 and 90 or 91, the two House joint resolutions that already made it through the House and they're in the Senate right now. They had their hearing in the Local Government and Elections Committee, but as of the last executive session that committee had, those two bills weren't voted on, so they're still lingering.
Okay.
Now, some people might think, oh, maybe they realized nobody wants this and they're just going to let them die. You also got to watch them, folks, because they might be waiting for everybody to forget about them and then try and sneak them through.
Yep. And once again, go ahead.
As long as you got a Plocher to blocker that type's out there, you can't take anything for granted. You got to expect they're going to try and make a move with them.
Well,
Go
so
ahead.
you
Go ahead,
gotta
Robert.
you got to keep an eye on the fact that they could also take those similar bills, not bills, but so they take similar language of these bills that we're going against, and they actually put them as amendments and try to attach them on other legislation to get it through.
Yeah.
And I've seen that Rick Bratton did it. He attached some stuff last minute that by the year 2075, theoretically, we should have 0.00001% property tax or something like that. But he slipped it in, got everybody to vote on it, and it got passed. So he didn't have to sign it as a bill. It went through as an amendment. So be careful of those tactics as well.
Good point. Thank you.
Getting 0.0001% property taxes after so long is actually a good thing.
Well, it is a good thing.
But they can use the same tactic in return.
Tax. Exactly. And it happens. Everybody, both parties have been known to do it, to slip things in as an amendment and, vaguely represent that amendment. And then the amendment gets tacked on and bada bing, bada boom, you got something that you don't really technically want. And I do think, Casey, to add on to what you say, I do think they realize how mad a lot of people are. So,
oh yeah, they know it. They know it. The question is, do they care? Are they still going to try and do it? I mean, just look at Plocher. He knows those bills were the three hottest bills in the House, and he killed off one already, and he's got two that he's not going to let see the light of day.
Well, see,
Plocher, the guy just flat out doesn't care, man. I mean, he don't. He thinks he's going to get away with it.
Well, he is. He has no primary contender. That's why he can be so bold right now.
Actually, you know what? In his last election, he only beat his Democratic opponent in the general election 60-40. Like I said, this guy ends up with a scandal hanging off his neck.
Let's find someone to run against him to do a write-in candidacy. I want to say one more thing here to Warrior Class 3, who commented quite a while ago. We should ask our reps to introduce a new rule that bills with the most sponsors must be presented to the floor first, and then the second most second, and so on. So the floor leader has no choice in the matter. Warrior Class, that also opens up corruption because people could start co-sponsoring bills without the public being involved in pushing for a bill. So I don't know that that's a good way to go. But at any rate, it is something to think about. Okay, guys.
We just need to do something about the process.
Correct.
Take the power out of, because it's held in too few hands.
Yep.
I mean, it's crazy. Like I said, man, all the work you go through to get these things through committees and stuff, and these bills are the most popular ones out there. And for one guy to just be able to decide this is going through. That's crazy. That's a dictatorship.
Yeah.
You know, they
it's a
blocked those
dictatorship.
bills. They blocked those bills, but they named a dinosaur. Let that sink in.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
and they tried
So,
to name
so
it from
are you saying Parsons is our state dinosaur now? Or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. That was a very pressing matter, sir, and they had to get it done. And by golly, they did. So just in time.
We might have to make Dean a dinosaur too.
Well, we do have a Senate dinosaur. It's a Hydra. It's Schatz, Huff, and Rodent. Yeah.
What's that Godzilla movie?
Yeah.
Hydra, the three-headed monster.
He said Hydra. Yeah, get him out of there. I will say there's a group going against those bills. The HJR 79, 91, 31 and 37. So there's a group that I recently joined called Show Me Integrity, and they are actually going around. They're actually going around and giving presentations to Republican committees, Republican groups, conservative groups, Chamber of Commerce groups, and they are actually actively right now going around and building support. So that way, if the Senate does happen to slam these through, that we could successfully push and educate people to vote no against it coming up in November.
Correct.
I want to know where the left is on this. You'd think they'd be trying to stop these ballot initiative killers too.
Yeah, they've been a little bit quiet on that, but they have been voting against it. A vast majority of Democrats are voting against them.
Yeah, but they're not making any noise.
No, they're not. They've been quiet. You're right.
Well, what are they worried about? I mean, Republicans try to go 7-1 on them, and they still worried about making them mad.
No.
That's what I don't get. How do you get kicked around and beat around so much and not say, okay, enough of this, time to fight back?
Hey, Scott, did you have something? Scott, were you wanting to talk? Okay, my mistake. I thought. Yep. So that's where we're at, gang. And I mean, for all of you who have been helping us with these bills, I want to say thank you very much. You guys saw what we did, how we did it, and you saw what unfortunately what Dean Plocher did and how he did it. Now, I'm going to continue calling literally this weekend for 1992 and for 2118. I'm going to continue doing that. But as the time compresses now, there's less and less chance of it getting through the House in time to actually go through the Senate. So I just want to make you guys, realize that there is a possibility that Dean Plocher will hold these back long enough to ensure they don't have enough time to go through the Senate. That seems to be what his strategy is. On 1992 and 2118, he already killed Susie's bill. So that one's, just unfortunately that's dead. There is a teeny tiny outside chance that it could be resuscitated and put through the House quickly, but the chance is very minor, unfortunately. And there's a strategy to it.
Can I add something to that?
Sure, go ahead, Casey.
For anybody in our audience who thinks, all those phone calls and emails they make were for nothing, nonsense. First of all, those bills wouldn't even got to Plocher in the first place if we hadn't pushed for them.
Mm-hmm.
All right, you can't never have that attitude, man. I mean, let's face it, government is corrupt. We gotta. It's always going to be a battle, man. They ain't going to give you nothing. You got to go out there and take it from them.
Yep.
I mean, that's the whole point of being here. We ain't here because it's easy, because we can just sit here and watch these bills go through. We're here because we got to keep our state, like Patrick says, as free as possible. It ain't going to happen without us doing it. Either we the people govern or we the people are going to be governed. And they're trying real hard to govern us now.
Yep.
So that's why I said, man, you can't look at it like, oh, we failed. Actually, we succeeded. Because first of all, we pushed these bills quite a way, especially after 666 got killed so quick. I mean, I had it in my head. It's like, there ain't no way they're going to do that 2118. We got it through two committees. We got it out here on the floor, and we've got Plocher exposed, him and Rudy V. And we already know we forced Plocher to basically say 2118 won't see the light of day, when before we were going, oh, maybe it's the budget, maybe it's the districting. No. now we got it. That's a victory in and of itself. We've exposed this dude. We pulled him out of his rock that he was hiding under. Okay? You know, like a trapdoor spider waiting to jump out and grab a bill and no one knows about it. We lifted that rock up and forced him out of there. Now everybody knows what a 8-legged arachnid he is.
Yep. And
it's been a success, folks. Like I said, you can't let yourself get down if these bills don't get through. You know, I'm going to keep fighting them, man. Even if he holds them here, if I get them in the Senate, I still want to see how far they can go. You know, because you never know what happens, man. It's just like when I was trying to get an audience with Plocher. If I hadn't stayed there all day and hung in there, I never would have got that audience. I never would have got that audience. We still might be sitting here. Gee, why aren't these bills going through? Is it the budget? Is it this? Is it that? No, we know what it is now. So, like I said, this has been a success because we've exposed somebody who's basically been doing these shenanigans for a long time. And if we can get this dude out of there, or we can change the rules, you know, that would have never even come up if it weren't for what we've done this far.
Let's think of it this way. He was so desperate to stop 2009, you know, the vaccination of school children, you know, basically he was so desperate to stop that, he overplayed his hand. And he got another representative involved in collusion to stop that bill. That's how desperate he was, gang. And that's,
we forced his hand.
Yep.
We forced some of this corruption to float to the top.
Yep.
For everyone to see.
And you made him give his tell. You know what I mean?
Yep. Right.
And just same with everybody else.
We called his hand and forced him to show his cards.
Yep.
Yep.
But that's how desperate.
Read, guys.
Yep. He was that desperate, gang. And that means, he literally was forced to show his true colors. So we've always considered him the Roy Blunt of, the Missouri House, as a background rhino operator. That's Dean Plocher. I mean, he's just like a younger version of Roy Blunt and a taller one. That's it. He's just a Roy Blunt. And the fact that, he did what he did to SEPA in the background made it difficult for us to show people or, actually explain to people how he slowed the bill down to the point where it couldn't get here and it couldn't get there in time, year after year, that is. But with Susie Pollock's bill, this is exposed. This is out in the open. And he did lie and he did collude to shut down the most popular bill. But the next question is why? He has single-handedly decided for everyone in Missouri that he knows best, that he knows what bills we should have in Missouri that become laws and what bills we have that don't become laws. He personally has undertaken that task. I say we relieve him of that duty very, very quickly. He's done enough damage. We need him to go. And frankly, I'd rather have a Democrat in his district than him. And I think many other people would too. We'll see if we can come up with a write-in candidate. But the Democrat is probably someone who is established and people know in that area and is already going to get a lot of votes. So let's see. Warrior Class says, what's even more concerning is all the reps that voted against reconsideration. Very good point, Warrior Class. We're going to deal with that too. Now, the 54 Republicans that voted for the reconsideration are all heroes. They stood up. They stood up to Dean Plocher. He's the most powerful man they have to deal with there because he decides the fate of their bills. And if they want to get bills passed, they got to smooch his butt, right? Because of the current rules. These guys have to agree to a rule change. And so what we'll do is we'll have people pledge that are running for office, that are running for the House, that they will pledge that they will look into and actually vote to change the rules to decentralize power. Plocher,
we should do that on the Senate side, too.
We will. Plocher, you done screwed it up for everybody. So, he's, that one bad apple spoiled, the entire bunch. We're going to have to change the rules because of Plocher and make sure that whoever comes after him doesn't have the power he had. Okay, gang.
Where's it at?
That's what it was.
Okay, gang, I'm going to ask people on YouTube if you guys have any further questions or comments or anything. And guys in Discord here, is there anything you guys would like to add? Stuff we forgot about tonight? Oh, besides Rally Day on Tuesday, the 26th.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, I
Yep.
can't wait till that day.
Yeah.
I got some friends I'm bringing up there with me.
Bring in some
Oh,
friends.
I'm gonna be there too.
Mhm.
One guy that's coming from Maryland.
Okay, gotcha. All the way from Maryland to go to Missouri Rally Day. That's awesome.
Yeah, he's hopefully going to be moving to Missouri sometime in the next few years. So, future resident.
Yep. Yep. Let's see. Latanya King says Roy Blunt and Billy Long gross her out. They gross everybody out. Try being in the same room with those. Well, actually, Billy Long's an okay guy. Okay. I'm not going to give that assignment to Roy Blunt. Roy Blunt is not an okay guy. There's something seriously wrong with that man.
It's an understatement.
Yeah.
That's a deep understatement.
Yeah. There's something wrong with him and his family.
Narcissistic personality disorder.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yep. Okay. So, okay. Go, John. You got anything for us? I know you're going to Rally Day too, buddy, aren't you?
I will be there. I don't know. I don't know what to say on this because it's utterly mind blowing. I just wish that we could name whatever the house rule changes or whatever we would just call it block the plock or whatever.
We need a
Plock,
campaign
yes.
name for it.
Block the plock. We need a good nickname or something for that. Keywords for the bill. Block the plock. Because
Call
I
it
think
the
it would be
block blocker.
That's
Yeah.
perfect.
yeah the
Block
plock
the block.
blocker. I think it would just be funny if some
Blocker.
you get enough blocker. Sounds
Block
like it's
blocker me right now?
It sounds like a anti-constipation medication, but anyway.
Hey, it's perfect. It's getting rid of the constipation in the Senate. Or in the
That's
House.
right. Stopping up the house.
Mhm.
But I think it would be great as a lasting insult that you you get people to agree to change the house rules, and strictly those house rules, the new ones, are tied directly to his
Name.
his royal pain in the hind end. I think that would be a great lasting legacy for him. Like, what did you accomplish? Well, I got house rules named after me. Oh yeah, what's that called? Block the plock. What? That's exactly what we did. Block the plock.
Blocker Bill.
Blocker.
Call
Yep.
it Imodium AD or something, or Pepto Bismol. Doesn't matter. Everybody's gonna know who it's aimed at.
Yep.
Jackass.
Well, that's fine. In fact, I think maybe we should all go visit Plocher when we're up there next Tuesday. I think he'd love to see us. I do think he would.
Oh, I bet he would.
I'm wondering how we can get everybody showing up for this event to go down to the House floor and just start chanting Plocher to Blocker.
Yep. There we go.
Mhm.
Yep.
Oh,
That would be good.
Yep. I think we should try to make an appearance in Plocher's office. By the way, guys,
Bring the gun rally. Oh, it's going to be inside, isn't it?
yes, it is. And some of them start
Okay.
outside, but usually they're inside for the speeches. But I gotta
hit that Facebook again and say, come on, guys, can you at least chant Blocker?
Yep.
Blocker
Yep.
voice?
Yeah. So, by the way, if anyone makes it to Plocher's office without me or whatever, don't drink anything they offer you. Don't eat anything they offer you in there. All right. So that's just my advice.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's awful.
Yeah. You just
Keep
don't.
your back to a wall.
Keep your back.
You keep your back to the wall. Yeah.
What's the usual crowd on a rally day?
200, 300. I have seen one before that we completely filled the rotunda, and all the little nooks and crannies might have been 500, 550.
Dang.
Mm-hmm.
If
How
they can all
about,
just
is it
Well, I
the
think
same?
I'll put it on my menu to go there.
Yeah.
Does everybody go and visit representatives, or is it just mainly a lot of protesting?
No, it's mainly a rally. It's
Okay.
me. I just, because you guys, you have to forgive me. I don't think about Rally Day about the rally. I think about Rally Day as knocking on doors, and that's just my thinking. That's what I do. And but I'll do a little bit of rally time. Mike Moon speaks at it every year, so he'll be there. You guys can meet and talk to Mike Moon and stuff like that. And Eric Burleson will be there. Go ahead.
I wish there's some way we can get those people to just go down
Yeah.
on the House floor and start chanting Blocker to Blocker.
Yep.
Yeah, it's just 10 minutes or something of it, just to let them know.
Yep. Well, I got a
If
blowhorn.
we get a chance in the rotunda when there's a little bit of silence, if we're in a group, we just try to start the chant and see if we get it going.
Mm-hmm.
Or it'll just be 5 idiots chanting "Plocher the Blocker."
It could be. It
While
could
everybody
be.
looks at us.
Yep. And you know what though? That's fine. We'll get a video of that, and everyone in our group will know. We'll put it on YouTube. But Plocher the Blocker, it is. You know. So, at any rate, don't drink the water. Latanya says, and that's good advice. And
Also, just to add in, I think everyone should take a catalog with them, and as you enter his office, shove it down the back of your pants. Every single person.
Yeah.
So be like, what's this? This is my Plocher blocker. Thank you very much.
This is so I don't get screwed in your office.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Oh, man.
Okay. Yeah. Dean,
Blocker.
Dean, we're just kidding. Dean, we're just kidding, dude. But seriously, your days are over here, you know, as far as being a politician in Missouri. We're going to literally, dude, start raising money, Plocher. I mean, you're going to need it. And it's not just us. There are other organizations. I don't want to speak for them right now, but I'm talking to their leaders. They don't want you either. And so we're organizing against you. You need to raise a lot of cash, dude. A lot of cash.
Yeah. We weren't asking for a whole lot. Basically, what, 3-4 bills?
Yep.
You know, 3 of them the most popular.
He couldn't let us have it.
Couldn't let us have it, huh? All right, dude. You're a dictator, man. You got to go.
Yep.
That's all there is to it.
So, let's see.
Ah.
Latanya says, I've met him at my daughter's homeschool civics class. You're talking Plocher? You met Plocher? He came here to Clever or to Stone County? That's what Latanya's saying. Wow. Wonder what he was doing down here.
Trying to set a record for the amount of kids barfing at one time.
Yeah.
He's probably trying to tell the kids, you know, how the Constitution was designed to make the defendant guilty until proven innocent, something like that.
Latoya, after the stream, come in the Discord. I got to ask you a couple questions about that situation.
Yeah.
No
Triple
doubt.
T. Hey there, buddy. Hey, Triple T, Tony. Are you the Tony I know down in Arkansas? Not know personally, but know online in Arkansas. Is that you? Just curious. I think you might be Arkansas. If that's true, we got to talk sometime, buddy. You were going to run for an office, and I was going to see what I could do to help you with that. If that's the same person I'm thinking of. Okay, gang. Well, I'll tell you what. You guys have anything else you want to bring up?
I think we pretty much brought it up, man. Plocher's got to go.
Yeah. I'm sorry, Dean. Once again, let those bills through at warp speed. Admit you lied to the people and apologize. And then maybe we can come to some sort of arrangement. Unless you do all of these things, raise 5 times more capital than you did for your last run. That's what you need.
It.
Yeah, and we've already done the calculations for you. It's actually 4.93 times. We're just rounding it up to 5 because you're just not that smart. So 5 times the capital, dude. That's all we're asking. Okay. Nope. I went from
Actually,
Buffalo.
I think he's looking forward to it until he gets it. Then he won't be.
Yeah. Well, he thinks we're joking, and that's fine. That's fine.
That's great. You're right. Yeah, we can't do that.
Yeah, there's nothing we can do.
There's nothing. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know you got us, man. There's nothing we can do.
We're just a bunch of stupid idiots making videos on YouTube. We have no idea what it's like. It's just
it's not like combined with the grassroots movements.
No.
Have like 20 or 30,000 people or something like that.
Yeah, I know. With 2 other organizations that have over 4,000.
We're just trying to look tough because you didn't kick our butts. So, we're just trying to save face. You got nothing to worry about, Dean.
Yeah.
You're all good, man. Yep. You just keep doing your deeds, man.
Yep.
No one can stop you.
Don't
let us get in your way.
You're invincible.
You're on a roll, bud.
You're invincible, man. So don't worry about anything we just said. You just have yourself a good evening, sir, and sit home and wring your hands and revel in all your shenanigans and just enjoy. All right.
Yeah.
And by the
Enjoy
way,
yourself.
Latanya is saying, no, it was Mike Moon she was referring to. Mike Moon.
Oh, Mike Moon. Okay.
Yeah. Okay, gotcha.
I was
Okay,
gonna
yeah,
say- I was gonna
no.
say, 'cause there
That
was,
that doesn't surprise
But
me that
still-
Mike Moon was speaking out of school. He does that all the time.
but still come in after.
Yeah. Latanya, come on in after. Let's see. And Tony says needs to take Plocker's job. Tony, Triple T Tony, are you in District 89? If you're in 89, we need to talk.
Hey, put House District 89 up on the map. See if anyone's.
Yeah. Hang on
Here.
1 second, gang. Let's put up House District 89. Let me go to Plocker. Plocker the blocker. Where are you, Plocker?
Hey, I just posted in the chat.
Okay.
Click on that and it'll.
Okay, I just put it up too.
Did you?
Oh,
All
yep,
right,
I sure
awesome.
did. Okay, that's District 89. And so basically it's right, it's real close to St. Louis.
Oh, I put the wrong thing up there. Go ahead.
Okay. Town and Country, Little Life Acres, it's by Manchester. So you guys see it on your screen right now. If anyone in our audience lives in that district, oh, hang on. Triple T says he's in Elk Creek. Is Elk Creek in District 89? Doesn't look like it. I don't see an Elk Creek in there. And that is very interesting, though. Do you have elk? And do you have a creek? I'm kind of curious about the nomenclature.
He's down by Arkansas. He might have elk.
No, he didn't. Oh, hang on. No, he's in Missouri.
Yeah, but he's real close to Arkansas.
Yeah, no. He still wants to
So
run for office. Okay, he moved from Buffalo to Missouri, so from New York to Missouri. Gotcha. Well, it's nice to have you, Triple T. Okay. All right, guys. If you guys have anything else for us, throw it in the chat because we're going to wrap her up here real quick. Don't forget about Rally Day. Once again, this coming up Tuesday. We're going to have another live stream on Sunday night to remind you all about that. There's a lot of us going. So the more the merrier, and it's a good time. It's a fun time. And those of you who have never walked the halls in Jeff City before, I'll be very happy to walk the halls with you and go talk to some politicians. Because that's what we do
calls
best.
with me, Pat.
Yep. Yeah. Once you walk,
right.
yeah, you betcha. I sure will. Yeah, I've walked the halls with KC before. And let's see. Joe Mama's not in tonight, but we've walked the halls with Joe Mama as well. Yep. Or I think he's going by John now. So at any rate, when you guys hear me say Joe Mama, I actually mean John. You know, he's
Rusty.
Yep. Yeah, Rusty Shackelford. Okay, let's see. District 142, District 33. Okay, but Triple T is talking about running for office. Well, he needs Plocker's job. If you want Plocker's actual job, just run as a representative and somehow get elected to floor leader, in the internal caucus. That's all you have to do. Okay, gang, I think that's about it. So we're going to go ahead and wrap it up. I want to remind you guys that it's not over till it's over. I'm going to keep making phone calls to House members about 1992 and 2118, and also continue to call Plocker's office. And I know Plocker's not real happy with me right now, but the fact of the matter is I'm not real happy with him right now either. I'm still asking him to, and in fact, I'm not asking. You guys, trust me, when I make phone calls, I'm not asking to Plocker's office especially. And I probably should be a little nicer on the phone when I call his office, but I'm starting to take this personal. Personal.
That'd be nice. We tried that, didn't work.
Yep. That's right. Okay.
Understatement.
Yeah. Hey, we have Rusty Shackelford in the house. We were just talking about you, buddy.
I just heard you. My damn headphones came out my ear. Hold up.
Okay, no problem.
I just turned on YouTube as you were talking about it.
Gotcha. Yeah, we're just saying we walk the halls with you, man. You know the secret handshake and everything.
Right.
Yeah, you're a veteran. So Rally Day, don't think of it as just Rally Day. Think of it as going around and meet and greet with politicians and tell them what you want them to do. And that's, basically what we do. And
Try to get a bunch of people to chant Plocher the Blocker.
Yeah, Plocher the Blocker.
Yeah, yeah. I'm trying it. I don't care if I'm the only one that ends up saying it out loud in front of everybody.
Yep.
Got to chance it. Before you
Yeah.
sign off, Pat, I got one thing to say.
Sure.
So Rick Bratton's going around in my district, and he is campaigning for the congressional 4th district. But he's also going around and he's advocating for the Senate Joint Resolutions 3731s, 91 and 79, I believe.
Mm.
And
He
He's
is.
advocating for him?
yeah, he's advocating for him. Rick Bratton is. And I just want to tell everybody out there that if anybody ever comes around claiming to be a conservative constitutional candidate, that they love liberty, they love freedom, but yet they're asking you to give up your freedoms to protect yourself from someone else, they're not really freedom-loving candidates, and you probably shouldn't vote for them.
That's a good point. Thank you for that. I didn't realize he was actually is he still doing this even after these public hearings where they got clobbered?
Well, I do not know if he has since then.
Okay.
I just know that he has because as I travel my area and talk to constituents, they've told me that, yeah, I've talked to Bratton a few times or I've seen him here or there, and he's in favor of it. And he's using the standard, we got to keep George Soros out of here and outside money and rada, yada, yada. But just, they're not raising the limits enough to stop that type of money anyway. All they're doing is limiting the constituents and people who want to circumvent a bad government.
Yep.
Hey, I'd rather have George Soros as our floor leader. We'll trade Plocher off.
Oh,
Dear
did you?
God.
My gosh, Dean
Oh.
Plocher, did you hear that? Oh my gosh, people would rather have Soros
It
as
says
floor
you're
leader than
worse-
you.
You're worse than Soros.
Yep,
to
that's
this guy.
Whoa.
Besides
Wow.
the money, is there a
Where's
difference?
Soros live, anyways?
is New York.
Yeah, I'd like to know that for reasons.
Actually, he's got several homes, but they're all relatively.
Are they all in another state?
Yeah.
We'll trade him for Plocher, man.
Soros is kind of low.
Yeah.
Soros is kind of low hanging fruit. What about Klaus Schwab?
Oh yeah, let's go into the top of the tree. All right. Yeah, getting the Klaus Schwab, the
Yep.
bum Schwab.
Yep.
Yeah, getting him.
Klaus Schwab's bum Schwabs.
Yeah,
Yeah, Soros has got that name recognition. We'll just
he does.
trade him for
Yeah,
Plocher.
Klaus Schwab's getting that name recognition now.
Well, maybe we can get him to run the Missouri Senate.
Hey,
Put
Pat,
some little.
did you hear?
put
I
some
think
little
Schwab would be easier to control in the House than Plocher the Blocker.
He is kind of a wimp, isn't he?
Hey,
He's
Rusty.
getting kind of old. He won't live much longer. I mean, that'd be a good thing.
Hey, Rusty,
Well, I
you
mean,
were
when
about to say
society
something.
collapses, he's closer too. So
Yeah.
make
gonna
things
say-
taken care of.
They cut the Attorney General Eric Schmidt's funding next year, and they had Dave Schatz. They brought him up on KTVI trying to advocate for Dave Schatz. I'll have to show you the link here in a minute. You should see the comment I left on there. I was letting everybody know he's a rhino. Don't vote for Schatz.
Ooh, Tuesday would be a good day to go into Shat's office and see where he stands on
Would
2118.
be.
Yep, it would.
Would be. And
What's
for
he
many
think
other
about
things,
Plocher the
no.
Blocker
Yep,
holding it back?
yep.
I
Triple
mean, he is
T.
running for United States Senate.
Yeah, Triple T's asking us in the YouTube chat if we know who Bernadette Holzer is. I don't. I don't know who Bernadette Holzer is. Sorry. Triple T says he'd love it to be in office, and he has a mind and the heart for it, but he's not a public speaker. Well, actually, honest to God, none of us are. You know, you just figure.
See, YouTube was trying to hide my comments too. My bad.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah,
YouTube is hiding your comments. Sorry about that, man.
Oh, on Dave Schatz. Yeah, they were trying to hide my comments.
Yeah. Okay, was this
That's
on Twitter or Facebook?
YouTube, and this was
Oh,
no
YouTube.
swearing, no nothing. This was just calling it like I saw it.
Yeah.
What channel?
Hey.
I'm under Nunya right now on YouTube.
What channel were you leaving comments on that they're holding back?
It was KTVI. I just put in general chat here on the Freedom Initiative.
Warrior Class has some really good advice for us, guys. He says, if you control Plocker's boyfriend, then you control Plocher.
Oh, that's a
Uh-huh.
burn.
Yeah. Yeah.
Shots fired.
Yeah. Shots fired. Burn. Major snappage there to basically to Plocher. What say you, Plocher? Someone in our chat, and by the way, Warrior Class is a lot more honest, than you have been. But he's saying you have a boyfriend, and we're just curious what your thoughts are on that. If you want to refute that, we know you're a liar. So I mean,
We're
so
we're
Plocher,
curious to see if Preparation H does feel good on the whole.
yeah,
That's what we're wondering.
Okay, Plocher,
Oh,
we're just
That's what
guys.
they
If
were trying to say in Austin Powers, Dr. Evil was Klaus Schwab. I swear to God.
Dr.
He
Evil.
looks just like, I swear to God.
more
Who eats the
predictive,
bugs?
predictive
Who eats
television.
the bugs?
Okay. All right. Okay. Well, I'll tell you what, gang. This is probably it. We're going to wrap her up, but I'll tell you what. We will be in Discord for half an hour. So if you guys want to come and enjoy us, in fact, if you see on your screen there, LaTanya King's even coming to join us. So we'll be chatting with her as soon as we get offline. All of you are welcome always in our Discord. This is not an exclusive club. Anyone's welcome to come in. Everyone gets a microphone as long, as we, basically just, obey the rules, and the rules are very simple, which is basically just to respect one another. So, all right, with
And-
that, go ahead.
And you have to be able to do it, me being a weirdo.
You have to what? I'm sorry.
Me being an oddball in the
Yeah,
Discord
yeah,
afterwards.
yeah. So sometimes I do impressions and things of that nature, and yeah, we all have our little thing, and but it's all in good fun and everything. So, but you're always welcome. And I want to thank you guys again for joining us. We know your time is precious, and our live streams are long. Hopefully, we actually give you guys some value in this. We let you know exactly what's going on in the Missouri Legislature and what you can do to help make Missouri the freest state out of all 50 states in the United States. And we think that we have a pretty good handle on how to do that. So exposing corruption is what we do. It's in our mission statement. It was written well over a year ago, Plocher. So don't think that, we're rolling out the red carpet for you. No, sir. We're not going to put up with any corrupt politicians. You're on our radar right now, though. But you're right.
Hashtag Blocker to Blocker.
Hashtag Blocker the Blocker.
They have eyes.
Yep. So, yeah, ignore everything we just said. Don't worry about it, man. You got your election in the bag. No worries.
Yeah.
Yep, I was just talking tough.
Walk in the park.
Yep.
Yeah, we can't do nothing.
We
have
can't
no
we
power.
can't beat you, man. Nope.
We're just citizens. What can we do?
Yeah.
What can we possibly do?
Yeah. So, all right, gang. You guys all I love the evil. Yeah. There's nothing to worry about, Dean Plocher. You're good, man. I meant, shoot, man. You got everyone wrapped around your finger. You got corporations eating out of your hands. You got, like fresh, freshman representatives eating out of your hands. I mean, you just got the whole thing sewed up, and there's just nothing we can do. You're just too powerful, dude.
Nothing.
My mind went to a bad place when it came to freshman representatives and his
Yeah.
habits. Oh,
Well,
God.
it's because of his boyfriend, isn't it? It's hang on.
Oh,
We have to be
God.
tolerant to that sort of thing. Now, I don't know if Warrior Class is correct on this. I don't know. I'm just saying that I've never caught Warrior Class in a lie, but I have caught Plocher in a lie. So that's all I'm
We should
saying.
ask him at the rally. Who is
Yeah.
your boyfriend?
Yep. Yep.
God, talk about just
Yeah.
whoosh, thumb right in the eye. God
Yep.
almighty.
Yep.
Whew.
So, yeah, I heard it from Warrior Class 3. Yep. Okay. All right, guys. Once again, thank you very much for coming in. Triple T Tony says she is a tree-hugging hippie. Okay, so
I
he's...
just looked at her page. It is bad.
Okay, gotcha. All right, so, yep, we won't get into that in this particular live stream, but maybe we'll approach that later. But remember now, if there's someone who is a tree hugger you don't like, just show them a honey locust tree and just walk away. Just walk away and let nature take its course. Okay, gang, with that, I want to thank you all for joining us. May God bless each and every one of you and all your families. Thank you, everyone on Discord, for joining tonight. We'll see you again on Sunday night for our next live stream. And don't forget to take time off of work for Tuesday's rally day up in Jeff City, 10 a.m. I'll probably be there about 8:30 a.m. I think many others. It's just easier to get parking if you get there early. Go ahead.
And don't ever forget to bully and ridicule your local political parasite.
Yep. Bully and ridicule. Plocher. Yeah, Plocher. We're just
hashtag Plocher to Blacker.
Yeah, dude, we're just talking tough, Plocher. Don't worry about it. You've got this whole election done. You're good.
You ain't got nothing to worry about.
Yep. Okay. All right. Thank you.
Your catalog. Don't forget your catalog on Tuesday.
Catalog. That's right. Just stuff down your pants.
Yeah, your Plocher blocker. Don't forget your Plocher blocker.
Okay. Take care, gang. Love you all.
Yeah. Later.